सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all the viewers and learners in this live interaction of CIET NCERT. I am Renu Bhatt with you all, and you are watching us live on PM Vidya channels from channel number 6 to 12. And apart from all these channels, you are with us on our YouTube channels as well, that is NCERT Official and NCERT PM Vidya class number 6 to 12. And dear viewers, as you can see, I am accompanied by our sign language interpreter. Let's meet her. You are Miss Neetu. Neetu, very warm welcome. And dear viewers, as you know, this is our special session named Sahyog. And before we proceed further, let me give you a brief introduction about Sahyog sessions. As you all know, Sahyog and Paricharcha sessions are held under Manodarpan initiative. And it's a brilliant initiative by Ministry of Education as a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for providing psychosocial support to all the viewers, students, their parents and teachers across the country. And we generally talk about their mental well-being as well in these special sessions. And in this specific session, we have very important topic to discuss. And the topic is courage to try, overcoming the fear of failure. And we all have fear of failures. We don't want to fail anyhow, but we need to overcome that fear. So how we can overcome for this particular fear? There are so many strategies, dear viewers, and we have joined by our expert to throw more light on this particular topic. And let's quickly meet them. You are Dr. Chithra S. You are Assistant Professor from RIE NCERT Bhubaneswar. Very warm welcome, ma'am. स्वागत है आपका.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar, ma'am. And we have joined by our practicing counselor as well. You are Miss M. Reshmi Irani. Very warm welcome, ma'am. स्वागत है आपका.
Thank you.
And before we proceed further, let me give you a very brief, let me share some certain information to all the viewers out there. In case you want to ask any question, if you have any query, you can reach out to us through our various mediums. We want you to call us on our telephone number, that is 8800 440 559. Either you can drop a mail as well. Our email address is sahyog.ncert@cit.nic.in. And if you have joined us through our live streaming, then you have to go to the live chat box. Then only you can drop your comments out there. And in case, dear viewers and all the students out there, you want to talk to our Manodarpan counselors, they have their separate number as well. It's 844-844-0632. So let's quickly start this session. And Reshmi ma'am, we want you to start this conversation. And my question is, why do students fear failure, and how does this fear affect their performance, ma'am?
Sure, ma'am. So, fear of failure, here what are we talking about? Fear of failure is an apprehension in advance that a student feels, or any person actually, they feel before attempting any task that they are almost sure that they are going to fail. So, this is the fear of failure. What happens as a result is, anybody who is scared of failing would not even try. So many students, they do not attempt certain tasks because they fear that they are going to fail. Not just that, even when they do try, they feel they are not satisfied with the performance. Neither are the people around them are satisfied. Because of course, the fear which is inside them has already started working on their performance. So now they are stuck in a loop where they are scared of attempting, and even when they are attempting, they are failing. So now they are in this constant loop, and it is very necessary for anybody to break that loop and come out of it, or else they are actually never going to succeed in life in the way that they want. Now success also has different meanings, so we are not going to define that, and also the word failure should be replaced with the word setback. Right? So the student or any individual, they are scared of failing, and in that apprehension they do not even try. So what is it? It is not just related to academics, but in all fields of life they may feel this. Here they start associating their performance with self-worth, and they start shaping their identity based on how they are performing in several events of their life, whether it's academics or co-curricular. Now, this belief, why does this take place? The reasons are unrealistic expectations by themselves, by their parents, by their teachers. The reason could also be excessive focus on marks nowadays. The reason could be lack of emotional validation that young people they need in their life. One of the major psychological reason is this performance anxiety that builds in them as a result of all of this. So this is actually very rational. It's not very illogical, and we do have reasons why somebody would feel such thing. So when a student feels that if I am going to attempt this and I make a mistake, and as a result I will face rejection or I will face judgment, I will have loss of approval by people whom I love. If that happens, the brain activates a stress response automatically. And in this stress response, the prefrontal cortex of the brain, which is responsible for reasoning, which is responsible for recalling, it becomes less effective. So what happens as a result? A student, we are talking in terms of academics right now, a student would feel memory blocks and would experience lack of concentration, as well as physical signs such as palpitations or restlessness. So this is going to heavily impact, and it is going to reflect on their marks, lack of confidence, avoidance of challenges in life, in school, outside school, and also emotional exhaustion and burnout. So I will tell you a real life case where a student of class 9 was brought in for counseling, and although the conceptual knowledge was there in the child would not do well in exams. So we found out that comparison between peers, a constant comparison done by parents, was one of the reasons that this was happening. So some of the strategies that we used was emotional reassurance. An emotionally safe place would make the child feel better, and this would definitely affect their stress. Apart from that, a cognitive restructuring, the way that a child feels, by talking to them, by getting to know their thoughts, there has to be a shift, which is not going to be sudden but gradual, where negative thoughts are to be replaced with positive ones, right? Apart from that, some mind body regulation techniques like breathing techniques, and there is a technique called 5 4 3 2 1, where
Right.
you can control your stress or anxiety by noticing things around you, by activating your senses, where you look at 5 things, you touch 4 things, you hear 3 things, you can smell 2 things, and you can taste 1 thing. So these techniques, other than that, small exercises of confidence building, not setting a long term outcome but focusing on goal oriented process, these things definitely would help relieve a child when they fear this, when they have this fear of failure.
So definitely, all these students out there, especially adolescent students, they need to keep in their mind all the strategies that our experts are sharing with you. Here, Chithra ma'am, we want you to answer this question, please. What can students do before attempting a new challenge to build courage and reduce fear, ma'am? What they can do?
Thank you, ma'am. As we know, adolescence is a crucial stage. It's a period of many social, physical, emotional changes takes place during this stage, and during this stage, our brain undergoes many significant changes, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for decision making and risk assessment, and limbic system, which is connected with emotions. These things highly affected. These things can cause impulsivity, emotional sensitivity, black and white thinking, etc. In order to eliminate the fear among the students, we can do some things: preparing thoroughly, visualizing success, breaking tasks into smaller steps, practicing positive self-talk, and seeking support, etc. Let's examine each one separately. The first thing is prepare thoroughly. Here, you have to know your stuff. That means you have to understand the things comprehensively. Before doing any activity, you can practice, research or rehearsal until you feel confident. For example, suppose you do a big presentation, for that you can create bullet points, practice in front of the mirror and anticipate questions. Then second thing is visualize success. Practice yourself nailing it. Here what you have to do is imagine the feeling of accomplishment. For example, perhaps you might have watched that athletes say during interviews they often visualize their victory before starting competitions. That will enhance or boost their confidence. You can do the same thing for your exams or performance. Then break it down. You don't have to look at the mountain, climb it one step at a time. That means you have heard that smaller steps is equal to less overwhelm. For example, instead of drawing into a huge project, break into smaller tasks like research, outline and draft. Then positive self-talk. You can swap, I can't beat, I have got this. Talk to yourself like a friend. For example, you can say, I have prepared well, I am ready, instead of what if I fail. Then seek support. You can share your fears with your friend, teachers or family members. They have been there too. For example, ask your classmate to study with you, or you can ask your teacher for a simple steps, for simple tasks, or for simple tips. What you have to understand is courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite it. These steps help you feel more in control and ready. So fear takes a back seat. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. Of course, our student can do a lot of things. Like ma'am said, if there is any chance you need support, you can ask for help, dear viewers. Reshmi ma'am, we want you to answer this, please. When things don't go well, how should students deal with failure in a healthy and positive way, ma'am?
See, we have already discussed in other sahyog sessions that stress is not really a bad thing. It actually can result in a better performance as well. We have to remember that fear, it can only reduce performance. It can never take away your ability. So we have to remind students of that. The first thing is, a student will feel disappointed and sad if they face a setback because they have tried, especially when they have tried a lot. So let them feel that. We have to tell them that feeling disappointed and sad is a legitimate part of the entire process. So do not suppress your emotions. Emotions need to be acknowledged. So do not immediately ask a child, be positive, don't think about it, let us think about it, and let us think about it strategically perhaps. So we should never dismiss their emotions first, which are associated with fear of failure or fear of getting a setback in life. So in counseling, we don't ask them, be positive. We do something about it so that they can actually feel positive. Failure would become unhealthy only when they internalize it completely. So never internalize it as your permanent identity. A failure is just a single step. It's a learning opportunity. If you Google and you ask for what can I replace the term failure with, you will be shown results such as learning opportunity, new experiences. So failure is not just a one-time result. It's not a judgment, it's an information, and you have to take it like that, as an information. If we look at it step by step, I would break it down into 5 simple processes. The first one that I have already talked about is emotional regulation. The first thing to do is, instead of dismissing what you are feeling, you have to accept it, you have to acknowledge it, and then build on it. So if you are feeling sad, you are free to feel that. You feel your emotions, do not suppress them, validate them. Secondly, thought awareness. So students are taught how they have to identify their negative thoughts, and then they need to think whether they are right or wrong by evidence-based questioning. So they have to identify thoughts that they are constantly thinking, I am a failure, I will fail at doing this. So when they identify these negative thoughts which are automatically coming to their mind, they will also have us or their support system with whom they can talk, and an evidence-based questioning would lead them to some other answer, that they are not really failing at something, they need to think positive. So after acknowledgement, there has to be this thought awareness where they will identify their negative thoughts. The third process could be reflective awareness. Reflective awareness is where they would look at the particular situation and then ask questions instead of emotionally being completely flowing with the emotions. Rationally, they will look at the situations and try to identify the loopholes, studying strategy, time management, any other factor which was there while they attempted that particular thing where they failed. So the reflective analysis, it is looking at a situation very objectively, trying to find out where they went wrong. So reflective analysis is the next step. The fourth step is support seeking. We believe that we shouldn't leave somebody alone to fix things, especially adolescents. They have a support system at home, they have their parents, they have their peers as well, and they have counselors and teachers as well. So they should seek help. We should always teach young minds that they are free to approach people. There is never anything wrong in expressing themselves. So we would talk about this particular step also. And then the final thing is action plan. With the help of this support system, with the help of the reflective analysis that they did, with the help of all the earlier steps, now is time to prepare an action plan and then follow that particular action plan. So an example that I would like to share here is a student who came to us who was failing at a competitive exam repeatedly. Instead of blaming or criticizing herself, the process was cognitive restructuring and this exposure to all these things, where the student finally learned how to use these failures as learning steps of identifying where she was going wrong. So a reframed structure of studying process, the material, the time management, etc. She worked on it, and emotionally resilient person came out at the end of it. So we have to remember that we cannot really remove failure from anybody's life. We cannot remove fear of failure also, because it will remain in some extent. What we need to remove is that feeling that the self-belief gets lost when there is a setback. So we need to work in that direction where fear will lead to a better result by using that as a step of a ladder. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and I'm quite sure our students will definitely work on it. And Chithra ma'am, as we are running very short of time, but please answer this. How can schools and families create an environment where students feel safe to try, fail and grow, ma'am?
Thank you, ma'am. As we know, as we know, family is a group of people who care and support each other, and the school is, of course, it's a heterogeneous section of families. Here, where school students from different cultural diversities and needs come over there and interact with each other, they can do a lot for the adolescents. They can foster a safe space for students to try, fail, and grow by promoting a growth mindset, encouraging curiosity, and celebrating effort. In this context, what can we do is praise effort, not just results. We need to make them focus on hard work, strategies, and perseverance, not just grades or outcomes. For example, we can say, I am proud of you, my child, how you tackled this tricky problem, instead of wow, you got 100%. Then we can do normalized mistakes. We need to make them aware about the errors or the stepping stones to success. We can share stories of famous failures of eminent personalities like Thomas Alva Edison, J.K. Rowling, etc. In class, we can discuss what went wrong in an experiment and how can we improve next time. We can set realistic goals and celebrate progress. We can help them to break big goals into smaller achievement steps and encourage them to celebrate small wins. For example, we need to encourage them to track progress with a growth chart that highlights effort, not just achievements. Model a growth mindset. We can show that learning is a lifelong process. What can we do is we can share our own learning journeys. For example, we can say, I am learning a new language. Would you like to join me? When students feel safe to fail, they take risk, innovate, and develop resilience, the skill they all will need for life. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. As we still have a couple of minutes with us, would you like to conclude this session, ma'am? What would you like to add, ma'am? Chithra, ma'am.
As we know, adolescence is a crucial stage. In order to eliminate the crucial stage means they have to learn more things, they have to do something, and in order to do something they need help from the school and society. We are responsible for it.
Right. So we are responsible for it. Reshmi, ma'am, what would you like to add, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, sure. As I was saying, that a fear of failure is something that I also face, and I'm sure that we have all faced it. But for the adolescents, it has more implications, because they are at the threshold. They are just going to explore the entire world. There are so many opportunities that they need to explore. So if they fear at failing and they do not attempt it, it is going to be detrimental in their life. It is going to stop the growth. So for the adolescents, it becomes really more crucial, right? So that is what I feel, that as support system, as parents, as teachers, as counselors, we should be very aware of it, and instead of banishing them, instead of blaming them, we should help them overcome this.
Definitely, instead of blaming them, we should support them. And failure doesn't mean you don't have any other opportunity. Failure is equal to new opportunity and experience. We should learn this. And as this is our time to wrap up this session, ma'am, before that, let me thank our expert. Thank you so very much, Chithra ma'am. Thank you so very much, Reshmi ma'am, for this valuable session and valuable information, and for being with us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Neetu, as well. And it's time for me to wrap up this session, but before that, let me share a very important piece of information with you all. If you want to order 4th and 7th grades NCERT new textbooks, you can order it from Amazon, Flipkart, and from NCERT official website. And let me share all the sessions details for tomorrow. As you all know, we will start our day with Yogshakti program, and at 8 a.m. the topic is yogic management for hypertension. At 10 a.m. we will be back with our another live interaction, and we will discuss demonstration of simulation on factorial. At 12 p.m. For teaching learning intervention for inclusive classroom program, maths 9 standard students will discuss quadrilateral. At 12:30 p.m. AI series will be there. Topic is helping children use AI for academic growth. 2 p.m. we will be back with our another live interaction sessions, and for maths 3rd standard students we have House of 100 part 1st, followed by English 3rd standard students. Topic is Chanda Mama counts the star. At 3 p.m. Urdu 4th standard students will be having their discussion on Hamd, followed by Hindi 4th standard students. Topic is Aisa Vardu. At 4 p.m. we will be having our another live interaction, that is online training program. At 5 p.m. Sahyog session is there. Topic is breaking the comparison trap in adolescence, handling social comparison in school life. With all these details, we want you to participate in all these sessions with all your queries and doubts, dear viewers. Me, Renu Bhatt, is taking your leave, but you stay tuned to PME Vidya channels for more informative programs. Namaskar.